G'day all and welcome back to Freo Faithful today for the Fremantle versus Adelaide preview for our Len Hall game on Friday night. Personally, my favourite fixture of the year. I love the Len Hall game. Such a special night for the club. And this one means more this year. Not just due to the whole backstory, the 28th Len Hall game, but Arthur Leggett, a well-known Fremantle fan, Rasaga Diode at one of our Len Hall games a few years ago, he passed away in the past few months, so it'll be a big tribute to him as well. So yeah, a massive game for the club, but it's a massive game for the team, because we absolutely, categorically, there is zero reason why it isn't a must that we have to bounce back this week. We absolutely must win on Friday. This is a season-defining game. This is how I'm titling this video. This is a season definer. There's no other way to put it. Our next 5 or 6 weeks are pretty much as difficult as they come, to be honest. Out of any one of the comps. We've obviously got Adelaide Friday night this week. Week after that, we've got the Saints away, which will be a test. Then we've got the Pies at home. Then the Giants at NG, who we don't travel well against. Then we've got Port. And then we've got Gold Coast away, which is, I can't remember the last time we won on the Gold Coast. So, and that leads us into our bye. So we have a really tough run of fixtures coming up, and this is an absolute season definer. Look, I've seen things throughout the week saying that we're pretenders and whatnot. I think that 6 games into a 23-game season, it's far too early to call any team a pretender, especially when they're 3-3. Especially when, Brisbane Lions, last year's premier, started off the season very slowly and ended up winning the lot. And it's happened a lot in the past 15 years where teams start off the year slowly and go on to go all the way. I'm not saying we're going to go all the way, but I think it's just so premature calling a team a pretender 6 games into a season. I think people just need to stay a little bit more level-headed. Let's get into team news, first of all. Now, this team news is fresh. Straight off the press from today. We had main training today. And Alex Pearce and Sean Darcy had a big collision. Two players that we don't need having collisions. Look, Sean Darcy did not play well on the weekend, but he's a key pillar of this team. And Alex Pearce, in my opinion, is our most important player. And he is the one who came off worse for wear. So he's had an injury scare, 3 days out from our ANZAC Day game. He came off appearing to be complaining of neck pain. This is reports coming from the West after colliding with Sean Darcy. So he came off. So Sean Darcy completed match sim or 17v17, whatever they were doing. He completed it fine. Alex Pearce was the one who came off worse for wear. He was complaining of neck pain. Now, with the neck, from injuries in the past few years, whenever there's been a neck injury, it's very, very 50-50 whether they come off okay in the days coming. So Alex Pearce could absolutely wake up tomorrow and be fine for Anzac Day and play. He could also wake up tomorrow in agony and he might not play Anzac Day. I've got no idea what's going to happen with Alex Pearce. I really, really hope he's okay. Because losing him in the week where we are playing Taylor Walker and Riley Thilthorpe and Darcy Fogarty if he gets up, not good. Not good. Another one from training today I want to mention is that, according to the West, JL stopped training to give the players an all-time spray. Apparently, JL gave an absolute whacking to the playing group today in front of everybody. They were saying it's something that, this is from the West podcast I was listening to. Apparently, it's something they've never seen JL sort of turn into before. He's been at the club for 5-6 years now, and they've never seen him give a spray like that in the open. He was just going in at players. Apparently, the team meeting was very thorough and very uncomfortable for a lot of the playing group. Hayden Young and Andy Brayshaw throughout the week have spoken about how they weren't tough enough and they didn't feel on the weekend. I'm expecting a response. Like, JL, from the sounds of it, has been incredibly tough in the lead up to the game this week. Some of our senior guys, like Youngie and Andy, aren't happy with the performance and are calling out the playing group. I'm expecting a response from a lot of the things I've been hearing. Back onto some more injury news in terms of players who are a chance for this week and from last week. So Jager won't play. He's done a hammy and a foot in the same incident on the weekend against Melbourne, so he'll be out for a few weeks. If I were to guess, it'd be 3 to 4 from what I heard on the injury report. Luke Jackson was a chance to play this week. He won't, as a bit of a caution. He'll play next week against St Kilda if everything goes to plan, which is good to hear. I thought Docker might be out for a bit longer. And Heath Chapman will play, obviously that late out due to illness. If Chappie played on the weekend, we probably would have won. He would have stopped at least 2 of those Cosy goals, and that was the margin in the end. So, yeah, Chappie will play, and we'll need him against, Isaac Rankin and those lot. In terms of the not-important injuries or the guys who weren't really any chance or not best 22, Brody didn't play for Peel on the weekend. He pinged a calf. He's gone for a week. Nat Fife has a timeline, so I don't know if he's best 22 or not, but he's going to be back in 5 to 7 weeks, and from there on out, he'll play a bit of Peel. Walters sounds only a couple weeks away, and then Sam Sturt is still a 5-weeker. On to Adelaide team news. Now, a couple big ones here. The rest are a bit irrelevant. The two I want to talk about are Darcy Fogarty and Josh Rochelle. So, Fogarty is a 50-50. I watched that Adelaide Giants game on the weekend, and he had 2 isolated incidents where he came off worse for wear in both of them. So, the fact he's even a chance for this weekend is surprising to me, because he ended up going off and sitting out the rest of a quite tough and physically enduring game. I'm expecting the Crows to be a bit tired. A 6-day break, travelling to Perth, a really physically demanding game against the Giants. So, if Fogarty gets up, I'll be surprised, but they've said it's a 50-50. And Josh Rochelle is apparently likely to play. So he's been out since round 3 with those fractured or broken ribs. It was an ugly incident where Rochelle got injured, but apparently he might be back into this team and he'll be fresh. So he'll be a real live wire in that Adelaide forward line, and they'll really welcome back the return of him. In terms of team changes, I think will be made. So John will go. I think Aish will go to make way for Wagner coming back in, because I think I may have forgotten to mention it, but Wagner will be available for this weekend. So I think Wagner will come in for Aish. I think the replacement for Amira will probably be Erasmus. And then we need to get Chapman back in this side, and we need someone to go. And Banfield has not been playing forward, and Heath Chapman sort of plays that half-back wing role. So I think Chappie will come in for Banners. And that's what I'm hoping happens. I really hope Dudley stays in this team. So I've got O'Meara, Aish, Banfield out, Chapman, Wagner, Erasmus in. I think that's what will happen. Yeah, it just makes the most sense to me. Let's look at the keys to win this game. There are so many of them. I don't know how we win this game, to be honest. Like, start of the season, you look at the fixture, you think Adelaide are going to be pretty good, but we're at home, we should be better than them, and we should win this game. Len Hall game, Friday night, big stage, we should rock up. We've got questions about rocking up now. After what I've heard from JL and our senior players during the week, as I've just mentioned, I am expecting a response. Absolutely. It's still going to be a super tough game. Adelaide are definitely going to bring their best. And there are so many keys to that team we have to stop. Let's talk about the first one. Jordan Dawson and Isaac Rankin. 2 absolute guns. 2 mainstays of that Adelaide midfield mix. And we have to get on top of them. If we let these 2 run amok, chalk in a 50-point loss. I'm being serious. These 2 are absolute game changers. In my opinion, the Dawson thing, we need to turn Hayden Young into a defensive midfielder in this game. He's been playing forward of the ball so much since he's been in this sort of midfield mix. And, late in the season last year, and since he's been back in the team, we've been playing him forward of the ball in an attacking role. And that's all sunshines and rainbows when we are playing well. But when we are not playing well, we were speaking about this on the pod during the week, we have no control of the midfield. And you look back to that Essendon game last year, we had 0 control of that midfield in the 4th quarter, and it was because we kept getting that mix wrong. We kept not playing anyone behind the ball, and it was so frustrating. So we need Young to play that role against Dawson. I've got faith that the jail will do that, and if it's not Young, we've got to chuck someone else behind there, whether that's a Matty Johnson as a bigger body. We've just got to look at something, whether that is Young or Johnson. We've done this sort of thing in the past where we haven't gone with a hard tag, but we've sort of just done a roll on a team's main midfielder. Like, you look back to what Fife did on Heaney in Sydney last year. We've got to do something similar to that. Otherwise, look, Heaney last year was running amok, and if we didn't get on top of him, we would have lost that game by a lot. We got on top of him, and we ended up winning by, a point. So we've got to do the same thing with Dawson. And like Sydney, Adelaide have multiple threats in that midfield, multiple superstar threats. And Isaac Rankin's the other one. And he's super dynamic, and he's very similar to Cosy Pickett. Now, the Cosy Pickett thing was something we got very wrong last week. Heath Chapman was our plan A. we didn't have a plan B. It was as simple as that. We need to get on top of this guy from the start, and we need to have a plan B if plan A is not working. He plays bulk midfield minutes, but he also plays, I'd say he probably plays, it's actually close to 50-50 midfield and forward. It's hard to have one player go with him the whole day. So I would send a Wagner or a Clark to Rankin. We sent Draper to him sent Draper to Pickett on the weekend. That did not work. I rate Draper as a versatile defender, but it just simply did not work. He got burnt. Maybe we could send a Chapman to him. Maybe we could send a Wagner or a Clark to him. I think the point is we need to send a smaller guy to him. And then when he goes into the midfield, whether that's following him by sending Chapman into the midfield or giving that role to a Caleb Sarong, I think it's very important we mitigate Rankin. And we're not going to place Sarong in a mitigating role, but we've got to tell Caleb, hey, this is your job. If we let this guy get off the leash, then we're going to be in big trouble. So we've just got to be very aware of those two main guys. And we can't be naive of the other talent they've got rolling through there. Matt Crouch back in the team has been playing very well since he's been back in. Jake Saligo, he's having a breakout year going under the radar. I've watched a lot of Adelaide this year, and this guy is an absolute jet. I've been very bullish on him since his draft year. He's always been one of my favourites in that Crows team. And Sid Draper is slowly building up his minutes, and he's a talent that could just break open at any stage. So yeah, we've got to be very, very careful of that midfield mix, and in particular, the Rankin and the Dawson thing. Getting the back mix right is another thing. So we've talked about the Rankin matchup. Another dynamic small that will push into the middle, maybe even more than Rankin, that we'll have to track, is Ben Keys. He often just breaks us open. And I'm not sure why, but Ben Keys loves playing against us. And he's a very, very good player. You've just got to give it to him. He's a great player. He plays his role very well, and he can break games open. So that's another thing we'll have to have covered. I think Wagner, Clark, and Chapman are going to have their hands full this weekend. And we're going to have all bases covered in the tall department, because we're not going to be able to afford to chuck Draper on a Rankin if that's what we really want to do, which won't be the right decision. We've got to have all bases covered in the tall department, because if Fogarty does play, you'll have him, Walker, and the main one, Riley Philthorpe, to cover. That is crucial, covering all bases there and not leaving anyone out to dry. And especially if Omac stays in the team and we have to change up our second ruck rotation, because from the sounds of it, we didn't like what we got from Omac in the second ruck last week. I thought he did as well as he could have against Max Gorn, but I think someone else could probably give us a better contest, whether that is a Draper or a Cox or a Tracy. I'm sure we'll work that out. But if it's someone from the back line, that will take someone from there out for a portion and chuck them into the middle of the ground at stages when Darcy's resting, which will leave one of Walker, Fogarty, or Philthorpe vulnerable. Or not vulnerable, but leave them open. So we've got to be very, very careful of that. If Fogarty doesn't play, that's a massive advantage to us. And yeah, we've just got to be very, very cautious on who we send to who in that Adelaide forward line, because they are so dynamic. And if Joshua Shelley comes in, then my goodness, our hands will be even more full. Having our two key forwards firing this week is, again, going to be another thing. So Oscar McDonald, we just need him to play a role, make contests. We're not expecting him to kick five and break the game open. We just need him to play a role as our third tall if he does play again this week. We need Amos and Tracy to both be firing, because they are yet to fire in the same game this season. If Amos plays well, Tracy has a quieter day. If Tracy breaks a game open, then Amos sometimes is non-competitive. So we cannot be competitive against the good teams this year if they're both not firing. It is absolutely crucial that Amos and Tracy both have fantastic games, and that is absolutely crucial, especially without a third tall in Jackson or Voss, who give us a really nice balance. McDonald doesn't really give us that same balance. He's more there for a contest and to pinch it in the ruck. He's very much so a hole plugger. So Amish and Tracy have to absolutely step up to the max on the weekend. Another thing, we need a limit score from the back half. So I was watching AFL 360 and they mentioned the amount of scores we conceded from the back half against Melbourne on the weekend. And it was uncanny. We conceded so much, and it was especially in the first half where they did all their damage from the back half. Now, we conceded a 100-plus score against a team who hadn't scored above 70 before last weekend in Melbourne, with a barrage of those coming from the back half. We are now up against the single best back half team of the competition. Score from back half team of the competition. Adelaide love to score in this way. This will be our absolute number one focus during the week, and we absolutely have to get the setup right. They've got so many good rebounding players. They know how to move the ball through the middle of the ground, and their mid to forward connection is arguably among the best in the comp at the moment. So we have to get it right, and it's completely up to Justin Longmuir to get it right. This is completely on setup, and if we don't get it right, again, we lose the game. There are so many areas we have to cover against this Adelaide outfit, who look so strong, and in my opinion, are a top 4 team this year. And then, last thing, the live wire. Now, someone brought it up on the fan cams, our inside 50 tackle stat. Now, it's been brought up twice this year on the fan cams. In our 3 losses this year, these are the inside 50 tackle stats. So, in the Sydney loss, it was Sydney 9, Fremantle 9. In the Geelong loss, it was Geelong 23, Fremantle 5. On the weekend, it was Melbourne 27, Fremantle 4. Absolutely unacceptable. So we've sung the praises of the Boltons, the Switkowskis, the Murphy Reeds, but they absolutely have to step up this weekend. And the Isaiah Dudleys, obviously, if he gets a full game. And it's not only those small guys. Every single person on that field has to be barreling over their opposition inside 50, because scoring off turnover is a huge way in which we've played our best footy in the past, and we absolutely have to bring it back. So yeah, those stats are shocking, especially the Geelong and the Melbourne games. We have to bring that live wire back inside forward 50, and we have to start scoring off turnover again, because it is a sustainable way to play football, and we haven't been playing it in some of these losses we've had this season. And even in that West Coast game, I don't think we did it particularly well. I thought that was just a win based off how bad West Coast were. I think the 2 wins we can hold our heads up high at this season would be the Richmond game and the Bulldogs game. No complaints out of those. But in those other games, our pressure has been far below the standard, and our setup's been far below the standard. And that goes on JL, it goes on the coaching group, and it goes on these players who talk so much about where we want to be, and yet are not showing the footy on the field, which will get us there. So, yeah. This game is a season definer. My tip for this week, I don't think we win. I've just covered so much on what we have to get right. The chances of us getting all those things right, in my opinion, are slim, based off a really disappointing loss last week. As I said, I'm expecting us to bounce back. We need to bounce back, and if we don't bounce back, our season is in turmoil. I'm quite a level-headed fan. We're 6 games in, but if we go to 3 and 4, and if we lose this sort of season-defining clash, a massive game for our club, the Len Hall game, then I will be absolutely fuming, and these players will be fuming, and the rest of the fan base will be fuming. We must bounce back. We need to bounce back, and if we do bounce back, then we're 4 and 3, and it gives us confidence going into the tough run of fixtures we've got coming up. That's starting with St Kilda away next week, which, they had a big loss on the weekend. But, yeah, the tough run of fixtures definitely starts now. Let me know what you think about the game down in the comments. Your tip, your thoughts. Huge game on Friday. I cannot wait to get to Optus. Thank you for watching. Up the Dockers.